How are you today? I can't hear you. Do I have enough to shoot up? Do I have enough to shoot up? Looks like it. So, I don't know if it's enough to keep, but we're gonna go with it. I don't really know what to say. I guess this is gonna be a shit video. But all my videos are shit. I'm a piece of shit. I'm fine with it. Guys, I'm starting to be handsomer. Handsome and handsome. I think that's the word. I don't really know. I don't even speak English. I speak a different dialect, and it's called Kurdish. And that's my excuse for speaking improper English, because it's the right way to speak, in my opinion. Um, So I recently found this dude named Michael Coran, and he's a poet, and I found him in the Spare Change News because if you live in Boston, people give out Spare Change News, and you're supposed to pay $2, and a homeless person, uh, the people that sell it, and they'll give it to you for $2, and I normally pay $20 for Spare Change News because I never have spare change. So I just get a 20 and buy the spare change shoes. But that's not really what this is about. The fact that I spend way too much money. I found this poem by Michael Coran, and I can read it. Well, I don't know. I don't want to steal his poetry, but you can also look him up, and he gives away his poetry for free. I'm sure he'd be fine with me reading it. I'm gonna read it. This is his poetry. It's called Shall I You We Dance. While I am I and you are you, let's unify and me be you. Feel something more begin to grow from both our cores. Hello, halo. Anyway, then I looked him up, and he's like a super cool dude and writes super cool poetry. And then I saw a video that he was in, and he was telling this riddle, and the riddle was like, uh, your teacher asks you how to spell crocodile, how you spell crocodile, and you go Krok, and the teacher says, no, you're wrong, and you tell the teacher, no, I'm right, you asked me how I spell crocodile, and that's very much of the opinion that I'm in. Like, I do things the way I do them. It doesn't make them less right that some white dude a long time ago said that this is the way things have to be done, and I don't feel like following those rules and self-describe my reality the way I do. Now, if I spell crocodile Krok, you should be able to get croc out of that and then maybe put two and two together, but we run into a problem if we don't keep the same language because of mutual intelligibility. So I try to make my dialect as mutually intelligible as possible. However, it's difficult sometimes. And then you run into who needs to code switch. Well, I speak the less common dialect of Kurdish, so it seems like I need to code switch to fit the white academia dialect that is. But I don't really feel like speaking white cishet man that defines male as born with XY chromosomes and testes when I'm a perfectly capable man as a trans one, and I don't want to be confused as not a man because of the body that I was born in. My body's perfectly okay, but just even more than that, like all of the ways that we describe things are overcomplicating things, and people are like, I know more than you because I'm talking over your head with really big language, and I'm like, Really, you aren't talking over my head. I understand your language. I just choose not to talk about it. And I'm talking about the same concepts as you. I'm just not using that bullshit language. And I'm using a language that's easier to comprehend. At least I try. But also, I find that I'm not mutually intelligible at all. So then I'm in this world that's without people except for myself because language breeds reality, so I'm in a reality devoid of humans, just me, because my language breeds a reality that no one else is in. But I think Michael Coran is in there. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe he's in his own reality too, but I think we're all kind of in our own realities, and communication is the way that we're supposed to synchronize upon those realities. But we're all relatively the center of our own universe if you think about it. Like, there's no. You experience everything as the center of the universe, relatively. So then we have like experience versus reality, and we try to make, uh, we try to correlate or like, I don't know, come to a consensus on what real reality is, but we're all having different experiences on the true reality, and who's to say one experience is more realistic than the other? Now, I think to put one experience over all the rest is to be a supremacist. So anyway, I like to validate everyone's experiences. The only thing is, then you find people that don't validate my own experience, and then what am I supposed to do? I guess I'm supposed to have patience and let them prosper in the same way that they should let me prosper, because hate begets hate. But it's a hard place to be in when you're supposed to be kind to everyone and people don't even give you the benefit of being kind to you. Now, what am I supposed to do? If people, reality is such that they hate my identity, then how do I have patience and love? And that's what I deal with a lot. I'm constantly angry because no one understands my identity and they explain my identity with shitty, fucked up words. And then because of that, no one understands my identity because trans people aren't biological yet. I'm pretty sure I'm made of carbon compounds and am organic matter. So I don't know what I would be if I'm not biological. In the last video, I said that I had a phantom dick. Well, really, my clit is my dick. So then it seems to exist in reality, which is why I said that my body's sending the signals. And I am of an opinion that the body is the brain, and the brain is what we experience, and its firing of its firing of neurons is how we decipher our world and how we make the seemingly infinite finite, and we can only take in a certain number of things. Um, so that's a little body mind thing. But I think that, like, if the mind does exist, and if we want to say the mind is a totally separate entity from the body, then the mind is the energy that's neither created nor destroyed, and it is us all, the one mind, the solipsist mind, whatever you want to call it, and none of us own it. I just don't believe in individual souls, but I believe in one soul. But that's getting too. I just, like, if you think about it, energy is neither created nor destroyed. Energy is mass by E equals mc squared. So then we're mass, so we're essentially energy. And energy is neither created nor destroyed, so we weren't created. We just changed forms in order to become what we are, but we're all of the same energy source. So if you want to say something is the mind, it's what powers the body, which is the energy that's neither created nor destroyed, but our individual relativistic experience is just powered by neurons firing in the brain, and the brain and the body are the same thing. But there's like a holy mind, which is above all, that never ends. Well, it might end, but I don't know how the halting problem resolves, so we'll see how it ends. None of us know. It's literally undecidable. That's why we have like this infinity. Is infinity really infinity? Well, if the end of time exists, then you would say that the end of numbers is however much time has passed, you know? But if time never started and never began, it was just infinite and then expanded with the bang, then I don't know. I guess we're stuck in an infinite loop, an infinite recursive bang crunch, bang crunch, bang crunch. But what is it? No one knows. Did we actually bang? No one knows. We weren't there. We can use models of mathematics to predict what happened, but and get really, really close. But then Stephen Hawking almost dies, and he says that there was no singularity. And then we wonder, well, he used models to predict that there wasn't a singularity, so what if our model that predicted the singularity was false? I think we started off as a singularity. I think that we're all one. I think that that's what energy is neither created nor destroyed points us to, but who am I to say? I don't know anything. I think the smartest thing that you could ever do is have doubt, specifically self doubt, because then you constantly ruminate and you constantly think, what am I missing? What do I not know? And then you learn the things that you don't know. If you don't admit to yourself that you don't know things, then you'll never learn them. It's funny how that works. So I don't really know, but like I said, I don't really know. There's nothing to know. You just have to live in the infinite present and go with the flow. Easier said than done. My infinite present also often contains anxiety and panic attacks. But I don't really know anything. And it gives me anxiety because I want to be in control and I want to know things. But I think that not knowing gives me extreme peace. Existing, existing in a state where I admit that I do not know allows me to theorize infinitely about what I could know. That's what I like to do. I like to try to do the hardest things and solve the hardest problems. So the fact that I'm going to get it wrong more times than I'm going to get it right. And you have to be unafraid to fail. And if you're unafraid to fail, eventually you might hit it. You might hit what you're trying to succeed at. So that's what I do. I just constantly try, constantly fail. Edison made the light bulb how many times? Well, he realized how to not make a light bulb, and then one time he made the light bulb. I'm not the one that came up with that. Someone else thought of that first, but I think it was Edison himself that said, I've realized all these ways how not to make a light bulb. That was quintessential in how I figured out how to make a light bulb. So if you're going to do hard things, you're going to fail. And you can't be afraid to fail or think that you're wrong because you fail. No one's right. Right? What is reality? We're all in different ones. You know? We're all in different realities. Relatively. There is one reality that we all occupy because we're all one entity. But it's hard to come to a conclusion on what that is because we're all relatively experiencing in our own bubbles. So just try to include everyone.